Welcome and thank you for joining us today for the second installment of MotionSoft's Technology Summit Education Series, Club Collaboration. Our session today is titled Customer Engagement 101, How to Begin Realizing Incredible Improvements in Retention. Your presenter today is Jafar Abidi, CTO and co-founder of Reunify, who you'll meet in just a moment. My name is Todd Tweedy. I am based at MotionSoft's corporate office in Rockville, Maryland. I'll be your moderator for the series and the moderator and co-host of the upcoming MotionSoft Technology Summit. The 2016 MotionSoft Technology Summit will be held in Baltimore, Maryland on September 13th through 15th. This is an invitation-only event primarily focused for CFOs and CTOs that are looking at implementing technology and best practices on how to sustain performance. If you're interested in attending the summit, please email me at ttweedy@motionsoft.net, ttweedy@motionsoft.net. I'll do a follow-up email after this session and send you the video recording to the presentation, and I'll also, again, give you that opportunity if you're interested to be invited to the summit. The Summit Webinar Education Series is designed to support your professional development by giving you access to industry-leading thinkers and companies that are driving innovation in the fitness arena. Your next session is on Tuesday, June 7th. Human Areste will focus on how to move beyond physical activity tracking. Very, very popular company and a very, I think, solid session that will be very beneficial for your company to attend. On the 15th, I really hope you get to attend our tech roundtable discussion with the MotionSoft Technology Summit Advisory Board. Really interesting companies. You've got Planet Fitness, you've got David Lloyd Leisure, the Baker Company, Forrest Gold's Gym. Now let me just take just a moment to ensure everyone's familiar with the webinar control panel and how to pose questions today. First, you should see a control panel on the right side of your screen, similar to the image you're seeing here. If you don't see the control panel on your screen, look in your taskbar for the orange clover icon and click it to open the control panel. If you wouldn't mind, please take a moment just to practice sending a question via the interface. Try typing hello or we should be at the beach, and then just click the send button. Thank you, Jeffrey. Awesome. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Jay Morgan. All good. Hello, Nancy. How are you doing? All right. Awesome. Hey, we should be at the beach, Rob. Thank you. Finally, I want to let you know that your QA session with your presenter will be held at the conclusion of this session. If we do run out of time and are unable to address your question during the webinar, Jafar will follow up with you directly. During the session, if you do have questions, please just go ahead and type them into the question interface, and I'll kind of kick things off with your questions as we get going. I'd like to remind you that this webinar is being recorded. Your microphones are muted, but again, you have the ability to ask questions via the question interface that we just reviewed. It's now my privilege to turn over our webinar to your presenter today, Jafar Abidi. Jafar, welcome to the MotionSoft Technology Summit Education Series. It's a pleasure to have you today.
Thank you, Todd. Thanks very much. And also I would like to thank MotionSoft for the great opportunity and the whole webinar series that they have. They started from past week and it's keep going till end of the summer. Thank you. And hello, everyone. My name is Jafar Abidi, and I am the co-founder and CTO of Reunify. And today, my talk will be about the Customer Engagement 101, or how to begin realizing incredible improvements in retention. Any business owner have three questions that they would like to answer. Number one, how to attract customers. Number two, how to convert them consumers, then eventually enhance relationship. So at the beginning of their business, you start attracting customers, and you would like they buy more, they spend more with you. If you have any service, they use the service more often. If you have a product, they buy the product more often, the other products that you have, and eventually they would like, you would like that they become a loyal consumer. They talk about you in social media, they talk with their friends, and you know that they're good customers, they're happy customers, bringing new customers. Eventually what you want to do is maximizing customer lifetime value. There are some businesses that say at some point Groupon was one of them, that it drive customers to you, and some of the small businesses, they were not happy because at the same time the whole system were driving customers from you to other people across the street. So the idea is that not only focus on the attraction part, the attract customer and customer acquisition, but also focus on the converting to consumer and enhancing the relationship. And that's where the relational marketing comes up. The idea is the long-term satisfaction and retention rather than dominant focus on sales transaction. People don't like sales calls. Sometimes they don't want to hear you when you talk about the sales, about your product with the sales point of view. But if you make sure that they're happy what they have, if they're happy with the service, then they keep coming to your office, to your service, to your website, to your store, and buy the same service and the same product. What is missing here? What is the missing element? Everybody does now omni-channel modeling. You would like to be connected to your customers, to your consumers all the time, offline, online, all the time. But I think what is missing here, the time that the customer is in your fitness club, when the guest is at your hotel, or the passenger is in your flight. That's the time that you can maximize your effect. I'll use a fitness example, entire the application, because this is the focus of the product as well. So that you might have a member that comes to your fitness club once every week or twice every week, and she comes in, she do the exercise, the yoga class, etc., and goes back. And maybe you want to talk to her later. Maybe you're going to send a survey to the person. But what you're missing here is that the 1.5 hours every week or twice every week that you have the opportunity to engage with the customer. But if you want to do that, it's not that easy. There are 4 major challenges. First of all, resource allocation. How you want to do that? Human capacity. How many people you want to talk? How many people you want to engage? How many customers you would like to interact with? And performance measure. So how you want to performance the measurement of your staff, measure the performance of your staff when they get engaged with clients, with members. And after all, this complex issue is not easy. A big club might have, a big fitness club might have about 2,000 members every day. A small might have about 200, but still, you need to pick the right people. So the face-to-face interaction is the solution. I explain in next couple of slides why. But the challenge is that how you're going to do that. We believe if you make it an intelligent, efficient interaction engagement using a computer system, it's possible. It makes the whole life much easier and make the whole process possible in terms of the talking to the right people, engaging with the right members. Let's look back to the problem that we started with. A common problem in all business is that in a good business, you start attracting customers. You start bringing members to your business. But at some point it stops. It always starts going very well, but the acquisition goes very well. But if it doesn't go down, it might stop right there. So this is typical. And if you look at the fitness club, probably you're familiar with this. It start going up, and then the new people start coming, and then they start leaving. Like after the summer, New Year resolution effect, you know, everybody gets excited about doing a new exercise and losing some weight and things like that. So they come to your fitness club, they come to your business, but they start leaving. And this is fairly common phenomenon across this industry and several other industries. But how should we address this? I have one picture for you that I would like to discuss this. So if this is your business, this is the acquisition. You try to put more water, basically, bring more clients, bring more members to your business. And then after a while, you realize that some people are leaving, so the acquisition starts right here. People start leaving your business, and then you try to do some patches as a retention program that you might have, start patching and put some band-aid here and there. But the key is here. You have to focus right there on those people that they come frequently to your club, they come frequently to your business, and you're missing the opportunity to talk to them before they leave. So what are the solutions? One, interactive member engagement. Talk to members and let members speak. This is essential. This is very crucial. You have to talk to members and provide the opportunity that they talk to you. Sometimes you might be able to provide something that if they want to send a message to executive, they should be able to do that. Maybe they would like to talk to some higher rank in your business. You have to provide that opportunity. Second one, instant insight, instant engagement. You need to have enough information. You need to have enough information to talk to your members when they are at the facility, and that means you need instant insights to provide an instant engagement, and you need to instant feedback, instant action. So this closes the loop basically. So let's look at some numbers. The key stats for the fitness industry is that fitness clubs attrition rate is about 40% to 60%. Some new fitness clubs might see lower numbers, but generally speaking, in US and Europe and most of the world, this is the accurate number. And you can look at the IHRSA report, Dr. Paul Bedford report. They all have close numbers to this. Weight loss engagement is about 6 weeks average. People get excited. They would love to lose some weight, but they're gonna lose the excitement and leave. Acquisition cost, if you look at some report, is 5 to 30 times more than retention. Depends on the industry. Retention means profit. 5% increase in retention means profit increase up to 95%. These are all numbers that you can see all across all industries. Most valuable customers, sometimes 20% of them actually pay for the 80% of revenue. So the whole message of this is that you need to take care of your current customers. Let's look at some numbers from Dr. Paul Bedford. Dr. Paul Bedford's study in 2015 was very interesting. He says that he looked at the effect of member interaction and engagement. So if you do it right, he says the visit frequency will be increased by 80%, the attrition will be dropped by 46%, 1-year membership increased by 44%, and tenureship increased up to 12 months. These are all the result of a right interaction. But he has some other interesting numbers as well. Let's look at this one. Member interaction effect. Interaction this month means 4 interaction this month means 8 times more likely to visit next month. This is how effective is one interaction. 12 effective interactions with high-risk members means 1 membership saved. This is about the ratio that you would like to think about it, but you might ask, okay, I would like to, how many people should I talk every day? And I have too many members, I don't have enough staff. What should I do? So this is the question you have. These are all members, and you are interested to pick the right one. Here you have 3 questions you need to answer. 1, who do you engage with? Who's the right person? Who's the right member? Who's the right guest? 2, when is the right time to engage? And 3 is how do you make an engagement relevant? These 3 questions, if you know, then you can actually make their engagement relevant and effective. So the viable solution for this could happen in 3 steps. First of all, you need to rediscover your members. You need to understand them well. For example, you need to know the risk of a member means that the probability that the member, that she might leave in 2-3 months. If you calculate that, then you need to know the value of the member. Because if you want to talk to members, you need to talk to high-value members. High-value members are the ones that actually bring money, or they have the potential to bring money to your business. And then you need to pick the most vital one. The second step is to re-engage with the vital ones. You already engaged. You already sent email. You already sent SMS, and you know the rate of response. But it's the time that with the right data that you have in your hand You re-engage genuinely with the most vital ones before they leave. The keyword in step number 2 is genuine. That engagement should be genuine. It should not be about sales process. It should be about how you want to address an issue. You might talk about new offers that you have. You might talk about new services. You might talk about new products, but that's different story. That's the side business. The main business here, the main goal should be address any issue and re-engage genuinely with the members or with the customer. And the third step, that you have to redefine relationship. The relationship is not about sales, it's not about you or your organization. It's all about customer, it's all about member. And that elevate, enhance your relationship, improve customer satisfaction, and increase revenue. The conventional approach for this is that probably you have tried this. You look at your data and you say, okay, if member has not came, say, to the club for 60 days, something is wrong, contact member. Basically, this is kind of late, but still is better than doing nothing. Member used to come. You have seen this phenomenon. The people who disappear, who just drop from your fitness club, are the one who used to come, and you used to see them on a weekly basis or every other day or every other week. So if they don't show up for 60 days, you might say, okay, I'm going and call them. You might come up with a second rule. Okay, if member spending is in top 5%, this sounds good. Send an email to member, thank him or thank her. But the question here is that maybe there are some members that they're not spending, but they have the potential to spend, but maybe they're not familiar with your service. Maybe they're not familiar with your offering. How about them? The last rule that you may come up with is like, if member has registered only for 4 sessions, okay, not sure, let's call a member. It's 4 sessions, for example, if you're a session-based business, 4 sessions is very low, then you realize that maybe something wrong, let me call member. You might call in the afternoon, 6 p.m., member is not home, or is a bad time, and then you may forget, you may just put one note in your CRM. It's still better than nothing, but these are the rules that you define based on your experience, based on your knowledge of your business. But the new approach is that, can we make this a data-driven approach? Can we move from data to insight? To do this, there are 3 major steps you need to do. First, you have to make your business a data-focused business. You need to collect relevant data as much as possible. You need an efficient and well-designed architecture. Some companies, such as MotionSoft, for example, they make that easy for you. They provide all data you need, even more than what you probably. So this is the data that you need to work with. And the second step is make your business a data-driven business. All your knowledge is good, all your expertise are invaluable, no question. But you need to pick the right data for decision making. You have to make your business decisions based on your insight from collected data. This is very crucial. The rules that you find here sometimes might bothering you, because some of the rules that you find might be not so intuitive, and then you have to look at it, that why this happens. Maybe you believe about certain rules from past 10 years. When you look at the data, it's time to change that. Some of the rules you find might be very intuitive, very obvious. You just ignore them because you know them already. But some of the patterns, some of the knowledge you discover here is invaluable. It's kind of mind-boggling sometimes. You should not be afraid. Just go with the data and insight. I have a good example for you. If you haven't seen the movie Moneyball, please go and watch it. And if you have watched already, please watch it again. Moneyball, I mean, the concept of Moneyball is about data-driven approach for an old industry such as baseball. So the conversation between Peter Brand and Billy Beane is very interesting. Billy Beane is a new general manager. He would like to try new approach, and he goes and hires Peter Brand as a genius, a Yale graduate, and he asks him, okay, what should we do? So Peter Brand looked at it and said, okay, people who run ball clubs, they think in terms of buying players. They would like to buy a good player because they go to scouting and just see, okay, this is a good player, let's buy him. So, but he says your goal shouldn't be to buy players. Your goal should be to buy wins, and buy wins means you have to buy runs. So basically he says, I'm going to go down all the way deep down the data to some runs. If someone can run, that means he can win. That means the whole team should be able to win. So he changed from observation that some people, some very knowledgeable people, look at the players and say, oh, this is good, to measurement, and go all the way down to some numbers to decide about players. And this way, actually, Billy Beane and Peter Brand changed the entire market. But after that, everybody more or less adopted the technology, and they didn't have much upper hand. But the whole key was that they changed the entire industry. And this is what we do. So let's look at the problem again. You need what we provide is predictive analytics using big data. There are 4 major data sources that you can look at. One, static data. Look at age, gender, value of house, salary, zip code, months of enrollment. Dynamic data such as check-in, purchase, companionship, time of the day of the week that some member goes to the fitness club. Some club data, the type of membership you have, the amenities, hours of operation, staff, and personal data such as household, social media data, purchase, census data, syndicate research database. All of these matters. So the way you should do is that you have to marry this data with your data, and eventually what you extract is sort of demographics, household, census, psychographics, social media, all of these things, plus CRM and check-ins, business data, operation data, consumer purchase, services and products, and eventually you might also look at whether economy factors and social factors. For example, the gas price might have an effect, because if a typical member might drive, say, about 10 miles to go to a club, or 2 miles or 3 miles, say if someone drives, say, about 15 miles and the gas price gets double over in summer, she might think that, hey, maybe I need to rethink about going to this club. Or the weather might have some effect. The idea is that you don't need to decide about this. You have to feed all of these data sources to your system and let the system decide. So your member right now, after this, will have much better profile. This is your CRM, that whatever you know about a member, and this is the external data you might have here. All the psychographics, demographics, interest, intents, brand preference, persona, everything will come together. Now what do you want to do with this? I have 4 types of intelligence that I can tell you that you should be able to extract. Let's look at these 4 one by one. First one, content intelligence. Any conversation with the client, you have to extract interest and intent and complaint or compliment or timing. Consumer intelligence, so you have to know the personality of the person. Is this person interested in fashion, interested in beauty? Is he a businessman? Is she a businesswoman? Business intelligence is very crucial. You would like to identify at risk and high value. Those have the potential to be engaged, high share of wallet. All these critical in metrics is important, that you have to go based on this to talk to people. If you have 200 people in the club in a given day, or 2,000, you need to only focus on the top high-risk people first, and among them, you have to focus on the high-value members. And eventually, operational intelligence. When, what, and who is crucial. You want to talk to which person, and what is your offer, basically, for that person. So we go back to this question, that who, when, and how. So you have too many people, and you have to pick the right one. But everybody has their own story. She might have a low risk, medium value, and frequency 2 times per week. He might have a high risk, high value. Persona is spender. Interest is weight loss. So the question you need to answer is that, do you know her story or not? For every member is a valued member. We understand that business. Every member, every customer is a valuable customer. But you need to know their story. Here, let's look at one example that I would like to go, and that's the risk. That if you know the risk of the person, That might change your business, because you can act based on the risk of the member if you know this 2-3 months in advance. So this is the member life cycle. Generally, a new customer comes to your business, and then she'll be active for a while. And then if she doesn't see the value, or she lose her interest, or your service is bad, or there is a better service across the street, for many reasons, she might say, okay, you know what, I'm thinking. And that's the reason we call that she goes to a risky state. Risky state of mind is that I don't know, either I already decided and I don't want to come to this club anymore, or the person might start thinking that should I leave, should I stay? And the risky state is the state that you have a chance to keep member, talk to the member, engage with the member, to push her back to the active side. The active state means a happy member doesn't have any issue and very just use your service happily and just keep moving. If you're late here, then that means you receive a cancel notice that you'll be notified that the member is going to leave your office or your club. Okay, so let's look at Jane again. So Jane is a member of this fitness club. You need to understand what is the probability that Jane is in a risky state or in active state. This is not easy, and that's the reason we say you have the computer figure this out after looking at all sorts of data. So assume we came up with the conclusion that, hey, maybe Mary is a risky person with 80% and 20% is active. You're not sure, but the system says, okay, most probably she's in risky state. And after here, you need to figure out what are the other probabilities. That means 50% she's going to cancel, 20% still she's in this state. That means she keeps thinking, she's talking to her friends, maybe she's talking to you or your staff to make her final decision. And there is a chance that maybe she goes back to active to say, okay, you know what, my problem was that you don't have yoga class in the afternoon. And you might say, hey, you know what, actually we do have yoga class in the afternoon, but it was not announced, maybe you didn't know that. We moved from Tuesday to Thursday. A simple conversation will save that member for you, and she goes back to the active state. Let me give you an example that why this is difficult. A daily life example is a weather. So all of us are familiar with this. So assume that yesterday was a sunny day, and you're trying, or today is sunny day, you're trying to predict tomorrow's weather. So what the 3 steps you need to see, you need to learn, you need to infer. Assume that we are looking at only 2 things. One, look at the today weather or yesterday weather and predict today's. So if the yesterday was sunny, by 70% today will be sunny. If yesterday was sunny, maybe 30% today is rainy. And if the yesterday was rainy, maybe 60% today is sunny. And if yesterday was rainy, 40% it might be rainy today. So let's assume that we have a very simple model. So based on this model, you can predict the weather. If today in your city is sunny, basically tomorrow will be 70% sunny as well. The idea is that you only look at yesterday and predict tomorrow, today, or you look at today and predict tomorrow. This is a very simple model that the complex model of this actually using weather prediction. But now assume that maybe you don't have information. You are sitting in a box in your office. You don't have any window. All you see is some shoes. You want to look at the dirt on the shoes and predict that today is sunny or rainy. So you look at the shoes. If it's dirt on it, you might say, hey, 90% probably it's rainy, but who knows, maybe she was running on a street and dirt comes from the street, not from the rain. Maybe 10% is sunny. Or if the shoes is clean, you might say, hey, his shoes is clean, most probably it's sunny. So the idea is that you only look at the shoes and you want to predict the weather. This is the challenge. This is not easy at all. Because the problem in your business is that there are too many factors, there are 2 signals, too many data that maybe some of them are available to you, but some of them are not. The idea is that you have to do two things. One, access to as many as data as possible, and then add a layer of inference that can infer the right fact for you, make the right decision for you. If we go back to the customer life cycle, so this is new customer, this is active, this is risky, this is cancel. Basically, look at the customer behavioral pattern. What we have at Reunify, we have about 200 signals that we decide if a person is risky or not. You might say the 200 signals might be a lot. They're not actually. We can look at the frequency of visit, the time of the day of the week, the months of the year you join. Are you come to the club alone or with your friends? What kind of membership you have? How many miles you drive? Are you coming mostly in the afternoon or in the morning, or in the morning and afternoon? Are you a weekday person or weekend person? So are you interested in beauty or you are interested in sport? Are you a sportsman or you're a sports fan? Are you a sportswoman or you are interested in yoga or swimming or Pilates? All of these facts, all of these signals, it comes to this computer and the system decides, say, okay, what I learned from past 2 years of the people who were similar to you, most probably you're going to leave in 2 months. That signal should go to the business owner and they have to act right away when you come to the club right now and not in 2 months later, which is too late. And these two active and risky states in terms of the computer might be even more complicated. It's not actually 2 states, it might be 5 or 10 other states. The risk state might be doubt state, and then risky and very risky. Active might be low activity state and high activity state. So we leave this to computer. All you need to provide the right data and have a right machine learning algorithm, a right artificial intelligence tool to decide for you, and all you need to do is to look at the output of this that tells me if the person is risky or not. And this goes back to our promise that what was the relational marketing about? Relational marketing was about that if I know this person, I can get engaged with her and I can provide the service that she wants. Look at Jane, risk score 96, very high, customer value high, share of wallet medium, frequency 4 months, 4 times per month, gym body, Jane Smith, a persona, businesswoman, intent, yoga, group activities, interest, fashion and weight loss, offer, that you come up with the offer, free spa coupon. The idea is that you have to draw a picture for yourself about each member. Each member has different story. You cannot put them in one bag. You have to treat them different, and this is a good example. And then how the whole system works. Let's look at this. This is your data on left side. You can see your data is here. It's check-ins, your point of sale information, anything you have. And this is where the companies such as Reunify sits. We integrate with your CRM, whoever might be, such as MotionSoft, for example, or MindBody, doesn't matter, or anybody else. We use the client data. It goes to our cloud. We combine this data now with our data. We have a data of almost most of the household in the United States, and we look at the publicly available data. We combine everything to enrich your product. And then when we have a better understanding of the person, we add a layer of analytics. For example, provide the value and risk of each member to you. It comes to a web app, and it goes instantly under finger point of your employees. And this process should take maybe about 3 seconds or 5 seconds or 2 seconds. As soon as they come to your office or as soon as they register for a class, when they come to your club, your staff already know that who is in the club and they can pick the right one to engage. Intelligent interaction overall can improve one's relational marketing in retention and engagement. That was the whole message. Let's look at the effect of this. We saw that in past 2 years, we were working on this heavily, and our engineers and scientists, data scientists work hard, and you can see the effect of interaction in high-risk members is higher than medium risk and low risk. That means that we were able to identify high risk correctly, and you get engaged with high risk, you get a better performance, better retention at the end of the year. The low risk people are the one that they don't have much issue. They come to your club anyway, but it's good to talk to them once in a while, especially those, for example, that do not spend much, but they have the potential of spending. The four major KPI that we measure at the end of the day is four things: decrease customer attrition, increase customer satisfaction, increase visit frequency and attachment to your club, and eventually increase customer spending. Four major KPI that we measure at Unify. And I would encourage all of you to go to unify.com, to our website, and if you are interested in the product, request access to the product, one of our team member will call you and demo the product to you, and you will see the effect of the engagement, the right engagement in your business. I got to stop here. I leave about, maybe we have about 20 minutes to any question that you might have. Todd, you may just go ahead with the Q&A session, please.
Awesome. Hey, thank you, Jafar. Attendees, before we start getting to questions, I have a question for you. If you could just reply via the question interface. And the question is, do you have a dedicated staff member who oversees customer engagement and focuses on retention? Just a yes or no would be great on that one. And then if you could, what's the job title of the person that is dedicated to member engagement and retention? So just based on the responses we're getting so far here, it looks like 80% of you don't have a person that's dedicated to running member engagement campaigns. And it's either a member coordinator or it's part of marketing in terms of the job titles for the folks that are doing that. So thank you for that kind of short poll and feedback. Jafar, a couple of questions have come in. Let me start with a question from Taff concerning attrition rates, and specifically how you calculated the attrition rate that you used in your slide, the 40 to 60% number.
Yes, that's we got from industry. Attrition rate, the way the companies calculate, each company, each fitness club calculates that in a different way. Mostly we got it from someone such as Paul Bedford, that he looked at all more than 500,000 different data sources to define that. But generally speaking, they measure at what percent of members actually leave at the end of the year. I understand that you might say, I am opening a new, for example, if you have a multi-branches fitness club, you might open a new club every year or every 6 months. That's a different story. But attrition rate, honestly, is that basically it goes to how many members you have today and how many members going to leave of that population at the end of the month or at the end of the year. This is the simple method, but you can make it more complicated, of course. But if you think that your attrition rate might be lower than that, like 10%, it doesn't matter. I mean, even for 10%, the whole process that I explained, it should bring your attrition down, basically. That's the promise. Doesn't matter, is it 60% or 16? Either way, it should bring it down.
Thanks, Jafar. A question that actually, it's a statement that came in from Jay, who, in response to my question about do you have dedicated staff members that oversee customer engagement and retention? And Jay's response is rather interesting. The correct answer should be all of our employees should be trying. Do you agree with that?
Very interesting. Very interesting. Our goal when we started this was not to um, push companies, fitness clubs, or any other company to hire new people because we know it's very costful. They're not interested to adding more cost. Small business, medium, or big companies, either way. And the idea was that, as Jay mentioned, that everybody has to be able to have the right level of engagement with the people. And the product we built is easy for everybody. And it doesn't need like more than maybe an hour of entire gym staff to engage with the right people. The whole promise is that if for big gyms, maybe 20, 30 engagements per day, it changes your business. For a smaller one, 5 to 10. And for that one, you can ask everybody. And the case is that when everybody knows the right story of a member, you can draw the right image in your mind and have the right conversation. And the whole key is that we make the entire this process very easy for the people that you hire, like uh, tomorrow. Using with tools such as this should be your iPhone. No one ever read actually the iPhone manual. You just get it, like Android or iPhone, no matter which camp you belong to. You just get your phone, start playing with it, and after maybe 5 minutes, you're comfortable using it. At least like 80% of the features you can get it. And the whole key for this is that it has to be very straightforward, very easy, that everybody in your gym indeed should be able to engage with people. But sometimes some of the clubs we have seen that people are busy in a sense that they don't have the opportunity to talk to members. But otherwise, I agree in a sense that everybody has to engage with the right member at the right time.
Thanks, Jafar. And we've kind of talked about how do we staff retention business functionality within a fitness facility. But let me transition and let me think about Blink Fitness for a second here. And I'm curious, what do club owners and operators need to do foundationally to help support retention? Blink has this philosophy around mood that exercise makes you, feel better, and the longer term benefits of weight loss or whatever it might be, or something that takes time and patience. Is it easier for a company that's created a some type of engagement philosophy or marketing platform that focuses on the customer? What do club owners need to do to create that foundation so that the staff can be part of that engagement practice?
I think there are two major steps. One, you have to be build everything based on some metrics. And for metrics, you need data. You need to have some data. I mean, you need to measure the happiness of your members. You need to measure the engagement of your members. You need to measure how much they are in the system, in the service that you provide. When you define those metrics, then you can measure, for sure, you can measure. And then to increase those measures, to increase the engagement, then you have to have the genuine engagement with the members. And the human being is very complex creature, is very complex. People might change their mind based on some unknown factors. And the key for engagement is you have to be engaged with almost everybody, for example, every 6 months. Every 6 months, you have to make sure that in your list, say 1,000 members you have, or 2,000, you have to make sure that you have engaged with all of them at least once. I mean, you may just talk to many members, many clubs, they go and they might say, never talk to me. No one ever talked to me. I went there, I stopped going there, and I came back again, and still no one kind of noticed. You notice, you talk, you engage more with the people who come more often, such as every other day. You know them, but definitely there are a majority of people that maybe they go with your philosophy, maybe they are happy, but you still need to measure that happiness. How much they are happy? Can you even make them better if they feel better? They get most of uh, the money they pay to you. I mean, that might be a question they might have. I pay like $100, $20, whatever it is. Do I get enough from this business? All of these questions will be answered in that genuine engagement with your members.
Which is a nice transition, Jafar. Kendra just sent a question asking how many measures and average do you record for a member?
That's very interesting. Our data scientists generally look at 200 different signals for, say, risk. For value might be a bit lower. But the whole key is that to extract these features. So it's not the case if someone only pays you, because you at the end of the month you might have a system that if someone is late in dues for 30 days, we need to call. That's only one metric. The other metric is that, for example, in past 6 months or 2 years, was she on time or not? And the next one would be, has she used the service enough? When she was here, was she happy? Did she come on weekend and weekdays? Is she a student? Might be someone. If she's a student and she hasn't shown up, say, for past 2 months, if it's in May and June, you might think, well, maybe she's in finals. So that's different story. So all these things, what I'm trying to say is that you have to let the system look at all possible data, and then the system itself decide that which feature, which signal, which sort of data is useful, which is not useful. You don't need to decide that. This is the beauty of it. It decides which one is useful, and then based on useful data sources and data signals, it decides and infer the right and provide the right decision for you.
Attendees, this is your chance to ask questions of Jafar. If you could please use the question interface and compose your questions there. I'm curious, Jafar, while our attendees are asking more questions here, we'll get them queued up in a second. How do you get started? I mean, I know you have 200 measures that you're looking at. Are there, five that our attendees should be kind of monitoring themselves just to get prepared for engagement? Where do you get started?
Right. Let me use, for example, the MotionSoft example. So we already kind of integrated with MotionSoft. So all data is in MotionSoft platform. We integrate our system with MotionSoft, means whatever data is there, we map to our own database. So the purchase per month, for example, mapped to our database. The frequency of visit of a member will be mapped to our database. We already built internally a module that look at about 200 features, and then we map this. Some of the features are direct, for example, the check-ins comes directly, and then the system look at the history of a check, his frequency of weekends, hour, day, month, everything, and extract that automatically and out to our engine. And then it decides about the risk factor, such as credit risk, for example, and then sends back the number. Number will be between 0 to 100. So the beauty of this is that you don't need to do anything. You already do the mapping, say from if you are with MotionSoft or anybody else. So we did the mapping to our own database. We built the analytic engine in past 2 years, and the analytic engine decides. And you might say, hey, you know what? For whatever reason, I don't have source ABC. Doesn't matter. The system is very modular. It has one module, for example, for check-ins, one module for the type of memberships, one module for the people who come together, companionship, one module for weather, one module for your address and zip code and census data and the value of the house of the member and everything like that. So if for whatever reason you don't have any of these modules, it's totally automated. It ignores those data sources, look at whatever is available, and do the inference in real time. And that's the key part. Basically, what we start, we start with the integration with Backbone, the CRM that you have. Then after that, you can see the risk of every member that you have in the system, for example, or value of everybody, or companionship for all, or share of wallet, or any new insight. For example, if someone's habit will change from 2 times per day, suddenly jumps to 4 times per day, we also acknowledge that. We would like to you also know that someone used to come less often, now comes more often, or the other way around. All these things will come to one dashboard for you that you can see.
Awesome. Thanks, Jafar. Let me switch gears. Robin has a really interesting question. How often and when should we solicit customer feedback through member surveys?
What we tested, what we tested was providing a real-time kiosk that we put in any fitness business, and basically leave that opportunity for people to talk to you. The Facebook phenomenon and Instagram and the whole social media, in addition to all emails and SMS, texts, and everything else, makes people to receive lots of emails, lots of SMS, lots of social media signals for survey. If you go and stay one room in any hotel right now, you receive an email. If you fly, say, with Delta, you receive an email. So the number of emails just increasing. And the ratio of people who take those surveys are getting lower, generally speaking. But if you ask the right question at the right moment, generally event-based, or when the member is within your facility, within your club, you get the higher response. If something was right and you ask, if something was wrong and you ask, if you're adding a new system, a new class, all these crucial events, if you go based on that, generally speaking, you might get a better response. But otherwise, for different businesses, would vary. I cannot give you a number, but you should be able to measure that. But generally, you have to be very careful and sending emails to members or your customers.
Thanks, Jafar. And Robin, from my marketing hat, I think frequency can be very challenging to dial in. I think from an equity standpoint and from a brand recognition standpoint, I mean, you certainly want to be communicating with your members at least once weekly, just so that they're receiving the communications, and that's how you're going to be able, I think, to start identifying simple things like responders and non-responders, and you just go from there. I think we're always kind of trying to balance that here at MotionSoft as well too, between communicating to customers about product upgrades or maintenance or new releases that are coming up, or MotionSoft Technology Summit events that are happening, or whatever other email. So for us, we try to limit the number of communications that we send to 3 a week to a single client or member that's in our file. So I don't know if that helps, but I just thought I'd throw that out there. We've got a few more minutes, attendees, and want to make sure we're getting your questions answered. Jafar, maybe just some thoughts here in terms of, what are the next steps that one of your clients needs to do to be ready to implement your services, and how long does it take to get a client up and running?
Sure. Either go to your website and contact us, or send me an email. My email is on the screen. Depends on the backbone that you use, the CRM that you're using. Some of them we already integrated, some of them is under integration. So if already integrated, you can access right momentarily. I mean, it wouldn't take much time. If it's not integrated, you have to wait till we finish the integration, and then you can use it right away. Send me an email and tell me what system you're on, and one of our team members contact you and just go with you toward the entire process.
Awesome, thanks. Attendees, any final questions for Jafar? Jafar, let me go ahead and ask you, please, if you could, just give us some key takeaways here. What can our attendees be doing right now to help with retention activities in their facilities, and what are some key observations that you would recommend they focus on here in terms of next steps?
Sure. I think everybody does a certain program for their retention. No question what kind of business you have, small or big. But I think what you can start with, ask people that your employee that have been, they engage with your members within your facility, when they come to your club, when they come to your business, and ask them how many they might know. or how many of them they have been interacted in past. That number gives you a good understanding are you are doing a right uh, engagement with them when they're at your club or not. Because this automated system that you have, as Todd said, you're sending emails to people, you're trying to be in contact with them, no question. You're doing that. Any CRM you use most probably does that, no question. But it's time to ask your employee about that and also get their feedback, because eventually at the end of the day, your general manager, the associate members, other member services, or other titles that you have, those are the one that they talk to your members. Those are the one that actually can get engaged and interact with the members. First step is to listen to them, to get to understand what they say. Is there any do's and don'ts list that they might have that you are not aware of? You may just talk to them, listen to them exactly what they say, because they have been engaged with members more or less in past. So use that to build a right engagement system with your members. That's what I suggest.
Awesome. Thank you, Jafar, and thank you for being our guest today. Attendees, again, the MotionSoft Technology Summit will be taking place on September 13th through 15th in Baltimore, Maryland. We haven't officially shared this information yet, but with our attendees, I'm happy to do that. Samsung and Cigna will be our keynoters this year. Jeffrey Cooper from Samsung, an incredible technologist and amazingly insightful in terms of kind of the fitness 360 model and what's happening and who's connecting to who and how to connect to them. And Julia Huggins, who is the president for Mid-Atlantic with Cigna, will be our other keynote, as well as a panelist for the club industry wellness webinar, or I'm sorry, session that we'll be doing as well too. So if you're interested in attending the event, please drop me an email at ttweedy@motionsoft.net. This will conclude our session for today. Thank you for joining us and have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Todd, and thank you all. Thanks a lot.
Bye now.